Have you ever wanted to play scales on a piano but didn't know where to start? Well, you're in the right place. Scales are the backbone of music, the framework that gives a piece its shape and direction. They are the building blocks of melody and harmony, and understanding them unlocks a world of musical possibilities. A scale, simply put, is a sequence of notes arranged in ascending or descending order. Think of it as a musical ladder, with each rung representing a different note. These scales can be major or minor, each with its unique sound and mood. Major scales, for instance, tend to sound happy and uplifting, while minor scales carry a more melancholic tone. But why are scales so important? Well, they help us understand how music works, how notes relate to each other, and how to create melodies and chords. They're the language of music, and we're about to dive in. By the end of this video, you will be able to play scales with ease and confidence. Before we dive into playing scales, you need to familiarize yourself with the keyboard. Think of the piano keyboard as a magical landscape, filled with potential for creating beautiful music. It might seem daunting at first glance with its multitude of keys, but it's actually quite simple once you understand the layout. Imagine the keyboard as a repeating pattern, a cycle that starts from A and ends on G, only to begin again. This pattern consists of 7 major notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. These are the white keys on your keyboard. Each one has its own unique sound, its own personality if you will, but together they create the harmonious symphony of music that we all love and enjoy. Now let's talk about the black keys. They're not just there to add contrast and make the keyboard look pretty, they have a significant role in the music world. They represent the sharps and flats, the in-between notes that give depth and richness to your melodies. Sharps are the black keys to the right of a white key, and flats are to the left. For instance, the black key to the right of the white key C is C sharp, and the same key to the left of D is D flat. It's the same key, but can be identified differently based on the context. In essence, the black keys fill in the gaps between the white keys, adding more notes to your musical vocabulary. They might seem a bit mysterious at first, but they're just as important as the white keys in creating beautiful, complex music. So there you have it, the layout of a piano keyboard in a nutshell. 7 white keys representing the 7 major notes, and the black keys representing the sharps and flats. It's a pattern that repeats across the entire keyboard, creating a vast landscape for you to explore and create your own unique melodies. Now that you have a basic understanding of the keyboard, we can move on to playing scales. One of the simplest scales to start with is the C major scale. This is a delightful scale that many musicians, both novice and seasoned, find themselves returning to time and time again. So, let's dive in and explore the C major scale. The C major scale is like the bread and butter of music. It's familiar, it's comforting, and it's a perfect starting point for your musical journey. What makes it so approachable? Well, the C major scale is made up entirely of white keys on the piano. That's right, no black keys involved in this one. Imagine you're sitting in front of your piano or keyboard. Locate the middle C, which is the white key just to the left of a pair of black keys. This is our starting point, our home base if you will. From here we're going to play 7 white keys in ascending order. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we return to C. But we're not just playing random white keys here. There's a pattern, a rhythm to it all. The C major scale follows a specific pattern of whole steps and half steps. In the language of the piano, a whole step means skipping a key, whether it's black or white, and a half step means moving to the next immediate key. For the C major scale, the pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So starting on middle C, we move a whole step to D, another whole step to E, and then a half step to F, followed by a whole step to G, another whole step to A, yet another whole step to B, and finally a half step back to C. Now it's your turn. Go ahead, play the C major scale. Start on middle C and follow the pattern. Don't worry about speed, take your time. Feel the keys under your fingers, listen to the beautiful sounds they make. And most importantly, enjoy the process. This is just the beginning of your musical journey. Well done! You've just played your first scale. Now that you've mastered the C major scale, let's move on to the G major scale. The G major scale, like the C major, is a 7-note scale. However, it's a tad more adventurous because it includes 1 black key. Now, don't be daunted. This is where the fun truly begins. So, where does the G major scale start? You guessed it, on the G note. Easy, right? The G note is the one immediately after the group of 3 black keys. It's a white key, and it's where our musical journey continues. Now let's walk through the scales step by step. Start with your thumb on G. Next, use your index finger to press the A note, then your middle finger for B. Here's where it gets interesting. Cross your thumb under your middle finger to hit the C note. Continue with your index finger on D, middle finger on E, and ring finger on F hash. Yes, that's right. The black key right after F is our F hash, the unique feature of the G major scale. Finally, reach the next G with your pinky, and you've ascended the G major scale. Descending is just as simple, but in reverse. Start with your pinky on the high G, ring finger on F hash, middle finger on E, index on D, thumb on C. Now, cross your middle finger over to B, index on A, and thumb back on G. And voila, you've descended the G major scale. Remember, every new scale is a fresh opportunity to explore the musical landscape. The G major scale, with its 1 black key, gives your piece a slightly different flavor, a hint of something exciting and unexpected. It's these subtle changes that make music so rich and varied. And don't worry if you don't get it right away. Practice makes perfect. Try it slowly at first, then gradually increase your speed as you get more comfortable. Great job! You've now learned how to play 2 different scales. As with any skill, practice is key when it comes to playing scales. Let's talk about practice. It's the bridge that carries you from understanding to mastering, from knowing to doing. It's the secret sauce that transforms a novice into a virtuoso. So let's dive into the art and science of practicing effectively, shall we? First and foremost, consistency is paramount. Just like a daily cup of tea, make practice a regular part of your routine. It doesn't have to be hours on end. Even 15 to 20 minutes a day can yield significant results over time. Next, we explore the concept of deliberate practice. It's not just about repeating the same thing over and over again. It's about targeted, focused effort. Identify your weaknesses and work on them. If you stumble over a particular note or interval, don't shy away. Embrace it. Work on it until it becomes your strength. Starting slowly is another key strategy. It's tempting to rush into a new scale at full speed, but resist the urge. Start at a pace where you can hit every note accurately. As your fingers become more familiar with the scale, gradually increase your speed. Now, let's talk about using a metronome. This little device can be your best friend. It helps you keep time, yes, but it's also a great tool for pacing your practice. Start with a slow tempo and gradually increase it as your skill improves. It's like having a personal trainer for your fingers. Finally, don't forget to take breaks. Your brain needs time to process and consolidate what it has learned. A few minutes of rest between practice sessions can do wonders for your progress. Remember that patience and perseverance are your allies in this journey. There will be days when the scales seem impossibly hard, but don't lose heart. Keep at it. With every practice session, you're one step closer to mastering the piano. Remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So go ahead and unleash the power of practice. The piano is waiting. Happy playing! You've come a long way in just a few minutes. We've journeyed together through the fascinating world of piano scales. We started off by getting to know our trusty companion, the keyboard. We studied its layout, understanding how the keys relate to notes and how they form the foundation of all scales. Next, we dived into the heart of the matter, exploring the C major and G major scales. We saw how these scales are not just a series of notes, but a beautiful symphony in their own right. We discovered how each scale has its own unique character, its own story to tell. And of course, we emphasized the importance of practice. Remember, practice is not just about repetition. It's about patience, persistence, and passion. It's about immersing yourself in the music and letting it flow through you. So, here you are on the brink of a wonderful musical journey. You're on your way to mastering scales on the piano. Keep practicing and don't forget to enjoy the music.